Welcome back to Extra Holiday Games. I'm Extra Holiday, and these encounters were just kind of dancing in front of me for a bit. I don't know where to go. And last time I promised that if I still didn't know where to go when I hit the next level, then I would just I'd just look it up. Because honestly, like, normally I'm pretty against looking things up to figure out where to go or what to do. And that's mostly just because I always feel disappointed in myself when I do look it up that, you know, I didn't figure it out myself. But I am in fact doing a show right now, and I don't want to make all you at home wait too much. But also, I don't know, man. This is a really old game, and they tend to be kind of obtuse about what you need to do. The game's this old. Ow, okay, got a little greedy there with my movement. Okay. But yeah, so I'm not totally against looking things up this time. Just take it nice and slow. There we go. Okay. Oh, this is a thing, apparently. Well, was a thing. That might have been where I found the one up earlier. That's kind of a weird concept to me. Did Zelda 1 have lives? Because having a Zelda game with lives feels weird. So I don't think any Zelda games after this did that, except for, again, the CDI games. Which, yeah, it just seemed to take more inspiration from this game than any of the other Zeldas. Although, again, it might have been only Zelda 1 and this game that were out at the time. I don't know. I'd have to double check that, and I still haven't done that, even though it's been a batch or two since I first had the idea. Ow. See, the only reason I'm getting hurt on those encounters now is because I'm rushing. Ah, right. This was just here. Okay, alright. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Yeah. I'm still not terribly afraid that I'll die in these encounters. Because I've got full magic. I've still got shield. And I'm still pretty well versed in the swamp encounters specifically. So there's really no way to avoid them going to that second palace. So even the harder versions I'm not really terribly bad at. Okay, almost got it there. Okay, can't remember which way I was going, so I'll just double back to be sure. Okay. Ow. Got a little greedy with the movement there, once again, but it's fine. Alright, this is probably the harder encounter, right? Nope, easier one. Okay. I'm not sure how it prioritizes which encounter you get when you hit 2 at once. I was just gonna wait for that because I didn't feel like not waiting. Felt like if I moved, I was gonna get a plains encounter, and I'd rather have a swamp encounter. But first, we're gonna go get this fairy. Cause now, okay, all right, hold on. There we go. That one is so much harder to get than the others, just because it's slightly higher. All right, plains encounter. Woo! Plains encounter over. All right. It's gotta be. Oh god, one of these. Shield. Ow. All right. You know, just having the 2 boomerang guys would be enough, but they gotta add the one jumpy dude. The one jumpy dude who I'm sure has a name, but I can't be bothered to look it up right now. Kind of busy. Oh, fairy, please. Fairy, come back. Why do you run from me? I am also slightly fairy-like. I'm a kind of a No, I'm a Hylian. No, I'm not a Kokiri, because Link was never a Kokiri. It's just in Ocarina of Time. He lived in Kokiri Village, but he wasn't actually a Kokiri. He was just a small child Hylian living there. For whatever reason. I don't know if they ever explained it. I'd have to replay Ocarina to figure it out, but... Okay. So I've explored pretty much everything in this section of the map, except for this swamp. So we're going into the swamp. I'm probably going to end up looking it up and being like, oh yeah, that was so simple. How did I not figure that out? And I'm going to feel like a real fool. And then I'm also going to feel bad because I had to look it up. And I'm like, it's the worst of all worlds. But honestly, you know what? I made a promise, so that's just how it's going to go. I try not to go back on my promises. Even if they're the people who wouldn't really respond if I didn't keep my end of the promise. I mean, there are some people watching this series. I appreciate that. In fact, this series is probably the best I've had a series do. Right away, at least. Like, as it comes out. Because I don't think I've ever had a series prior to this that had, like, that, you know, somewhat consistently had 2 views within the first 24 hours on each video. And that's pretty cool, you know. That's kind of part of the reason why I'm playing this right now and not New Pokemon Snap. The other part of the reason is that I kind of got bored of the idea of New Pokemon Snap. I'll probably go back to it eventually. Almost undoubtedly. But, oh, experience. Cool. But for now, I'm not really chomping at the bit to play it. Because, yeah, I mean, it was fun while it lasted, but then I had to redo the same stages like 4 times over. That's less interesting to me. Progress in that game was slower than I wanted it to be, so... I'm just kind of putting it on hold for now. Because I honestly don't even know how long the new Pokemon Snap is. I know the original's pretty short. It's like a couple hours if you know what you're doing. And then like a half hour if you're a speedrunner. Ow. Don't know why I thought I could block him with the shield. Ow, don't know why I tried to duck there. Oh. Yeah, I don't know how long new Pokemon Snap is, because when I'm looking to play a game, I tend to try to avoid too much information on it. And so, yeah, I often end up, you know, a lot of the time I want to go into a game blind when I'm playing it for the channel. And even when I'm not playing it for the channel, even when I'm just playing it for my own sake, a lot of the time I'll just be like, yeah, I want to know as little about this as possible, so that, you know, everything's new and exciting, you know? It's like, I don't know why this is a controversial subject, but spoilers, right? I try not to spoil things, because I feel like most of the time that element of surprise adds to whatever experience you're having. But some people, they say like, oh, well, if spoilers shouldn't matter, because if the movie was good, then, you know, you'd like it regardless of whether or not you knew the outcome. And I mean, sure, there's some truth to that. Like, a well-made movie is still a well-made movie regardless of whether you know the plot or not, but like, you're still... That doesn't mean there isn't still more to gain from not knowing how it ends. Right? Like, that element, that surprise, you know, that question in the back of your mind as things are happening, like, oh, what is going to happen? That can turn, you know, a good movie into a great movie. Right? It's not like there are that many movies out there that are just so much worse, or games in some cases. I default to movies because I feel like movie spoilers are more common than game spoilers. And potentially more important as well. Because, like, if you told me at the end of this game, oh yeah, Link defeats Ganon, I'd be like, well, yeah, duh. But... what was I saying? Yeah, it's not like there are a lot of movies or games out there where if you know what happens, then the game or movie is worthless. Like, most of the time, it's like, oh, this is already a good thing, but it's better if you don't know what's happening. For example, and these are actually game examples, I think that, and this is these games are actually a large reason why I like to go into games blind. I think that the games Undertale and Doki Doki Literature Club are both games that are very much improved by not knowing what's going to happen going into it, or having as little information as possible. And it largely has to do... Ooh. I'm kind of working against my point here. So plug your ears for a few seconds if you really ascribe to my train of thought when it comes to these sorts of things. A lot of the reason that DDLC and Undertale are really good games to go into blind, in my opinion, is that because they subvert tropes. And when you subvert a trope, you're basically, the whole reason you're doing it is to surprise people, right? Because they're expecting one thing, and then another thing happens, and it's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And, you know, that it gives you this feeling of like, wow, what's gonna happen now? Anything could happen, right? Like, you don't know that how things are gonna end, and, you know, how things are gonna play out, even more importantly. So, and that really adds to certain games and movies and stuff. Subverting tropes is also one of my favorite things in entertainment. Specifically for that reason, because I like to be surprised. And that's why my favorite of the new Star Wars films, and potentially all the Star Wars films, is Episode 8. Which is controversial, I know, but it is, in fact, that's one of my favorites. And specifically because, you know, it surprised me. Like, I didn't see... There were very few moments where, like, yep, knew that was gonna... Where I was like, yep, knew that was gonna happen. Not surprised there. And, yeah, it felt fresh, you know? It felt like a new experience. As opposed to episodes 7 and 9, which were like... Yeah, this is basically just previous Star Wars movies done again. Which, you know, some people like, but I guess it's because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I mean, oh, hey, there's the level. Attack will go up. Cool. Part of it could be because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in general, but I like having tropes subverted in pretty much all franchises, not just Star Wars. Okay, so we hit the next level, and I still have no idea where to go. I have explored pretty much everything on this side of the map, between these mountains and the rivers. So, I'm gonna look it up. And I'm gonna know where to go next time. But, as for this episode, that's a wrap. Oh, okay.